go ahead and call the meeting to order. It's 4:05 on Wednesday, September 10th. We do have all commissioners present, so we do have a quorum. We'll move to the first agenda item, which is approval of the minutes from the August meeting. I only had one very, very slight correction. It is the inclusion of the second E in Commissioner Curley's last name on members present. Don't ask me how my eye went to that, but that was just a technical correction. So unless there's any objection to that, but any other changes to the minutes as presented? And if not, I'd entertain a motion to approve with that slight correction.
Make that motion.
Okay.
Second.
All right. We have a motion for approval and a second. All those in favor of approving the August minutes, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, minutes are approved. We will shift on to the reports.
All right, so this month we're going to be talking about July. So when I'm looking at our incoming animals, we did see a slight decrease in dogs compared to last year, about 30 less dogs. However, we did see almost a 20% increase, or just over 19% increase in cats. We took in 754 compared to 633 the year before, bringing up our total overall domestic up by 7.7%. Our wildlife was pretty stable, and then our overall intakes was up by just under 8%. Our animal outcomes, our adoptions, is down, which is surprising considering that we've added 2 more locations and another day a month to...
Our offsites are up for the year.
Okay, so offsites overall are up, however, adoptions overall is down, at least for the month of July. So it was 8.6% down compared to last year. But I did think it was interesting considering, like I said, we have more offsites, and we included another Saturday adoption event here at the shelter. But we're not seeing, and as Jeff pointed out, we're not seeing that the increase is here at the shelter. The increase is for off-site locations. So that's why we make them our priority, to be honest, because they're easily accessible and highly visible and obviously doing very well. So we appreciate those stores and locations that are partnering with us. Our rescues and transfers, we did see about 30 more animals go out, so 39.1% increase. I believe July was the month that we sent out to the Cat Cascade, if I'm not mistaken, in Chicago. So that was an out-of-state transport. So that was pretty good partnership that we have them. Of course, right now they're full, so they can't take any more from us. However, we'll appreciate that fact that they did take some from us in July, which is obviously always a good thing. Our community cats were down because if we literally kept processing at the rate that we were, our surgery table would be predominantly community cats versus our fosters and our adoptions. So we needed to shift priority, and that's why we continue to manage how many community cats can come in over the counter. Officers are different than when we have citizens bringing them in over the counter. We just can't handle more than what we're allowing them to do right now. So our return to owner was still down, 21.8% less animals being claimed. We did see a reduction in dog euthanasia, shelter euthanasia, which is good, so 18.7% was down. Cats, however, were up. We have been seeing, again, like I stated last month, illnesses, a lot of unhealthy baby kittens, which they're not thriving, so that means that it does result in more euthanasias. And we did see a few cases of pan-luke. So those are also some parameters that would require us to euthanize. As of July, we did not euthanize for overall space. It's literally for medical and behavioral reasons. Animals currently in foster, if you drop down, 172 for the month of July compared to 2024, which is 125. So that is an increase of 37.6%. So our foster department has been hopping. And our total activities were down a smidge by 9.2%. If you ask the officers, though, they'll tell you they have not been down, but statistically they are showing that they're down. We had bite cases. I believe this is now our 3rd month that is showing an increase in bites. We had 140 for the month of July compared to 111 last year, with the overall increase, like the largest increase being juvenile victims. So 21 compared to last year's 15. Not surprising, it's summer, school's not in session, more kids are outside, more dogs are running loose. Not that that's necessarily why it happened, but it's not surprising. More bites happen in the summer than they do in the winter. And then our tickets, we had a slight increase there, not huge. We did have less court cases heard, but I do know that they canceled court a couple times during the month, which we don't dictate the judges' schedules. They tell us when they're going to be present. And that's when we overload their dockets, and then they get mad at us, and there's not a whole lot we can do about it. So, but we did have fines ordered, which were down compared to last year, but we did receive more fines in payment compared to last year. And of course, I was shocked about this. This is the second month in a row now we've had pet registrations an increase, 119% increase over last year. So 885 pet registrations sold compared to last year's 404, which means that the city revenue was up by 130% compared to last year's. So that is something very nice to report. And I know we're missing a number on the Bloomerang donations, but I'm guessing that Sophia's going to cover that in her report. It didn't pull through on my reports. That's the only reason why it's not there. It just wasn't included in the big stats pages. And then we have an overall increase of our animal care fund of 7.9% compared to last year. So you're still sitting at 1.2 and some $1 million.
Awesome. Any questions, comments? Okay, thank you. With that, we'll move on to the education report.
All right, so we've been, I would say, slightly slow. It feels kind of weird to actually breathe a little bit in the education department, but school did just start, so you know that all is changing quickly. We have started receiving requests for visits from the education team to schools or having people visit the shelter. Thankfully, they're not turning around immediately. We did bring on our humane education intern, which is Ellie. Some of you guys have probably already seen her around the shelter. She helped with camps as our paid camp counselor, and she was awesome. So we just moved her right into this role because she already knew half of it, so it made a lot of sense. She is working with us to create a middle school and a high school program agenda, because that's something that we don't really have. I recognized pretty quickly when I started last year that when we go for like 8th grade, we don't really know what to say. So we are working on that and making it more interactive and just being able to provide that specific agenda. One thing that I have noticed on some other humane education websites is they offer options for the schools, so we're going to work towards that as well, to where they can choose what is being presented versus just the typical bite, you know, how to not get bit by an animal or read body language. There are different things that you can teach as well, so we're going to work on creating all that through the year with Ellie. She's also helping us with our social media, so she's helping to create content. It's super helpful for Delaney. And then she will also be helping at some of those school visits so that we can increase the amount that we're able to offer, because between me and Delaney, with all the other things that we already do, it is not a very, very open program to be able to try to increase the numbers that we're seeing. So she will be a great help. We're excited to have her, and we'll see how that part goes. We did have some unique requests for this month. We had a nursing home reach out, actually an adult day center. They wanted us to come out and bring kittens to see how, basically for enrichment for their residents. So I did talk to Amy Jo. We got approval to do that, and then I had another unique one, which I just kind of threw in because it was on the same day. We had a nursing home reach out that has a hospice patient, basically, that's absolute cat lady, and they were really hoping to throw a surprise party for her and have kittens out there. So we are just doing both in one day. So we decided to just make that happen. I mean, how could you say no to that? So we'll be doing that as well. Again, it's just kittens. We're not going to take out any puppies or anything that we don't already know personalities of. And I've already spoke with Jean on that and told her who will be visiting so that we can hopefully choose groups that are pretty mellow. Delaney and I are both in classes right now. So Delaney is working towards a certification in digital fundraising, and then I was accepted into the Maddie's Fund instructor-led humane education course. So we're both doing those. They're just 2-hour classes once a week for 4 weeks. So they'll be over very shortly, I'm sure, but it's a good growth opportunity for both of us. I did order a bunch of swag for some upcoming JA events for the remaining of the year, and then some outreach events that we still have to do. We will have staff present for a few different events. We have Blessings in a Backpack is doing something with Texas Roadhouse, but they scaled it really large, so they invited us to come out as well. So Delaney and a volunteer will be at that. We have a birthday party, which was a gala auction item that I'll be doing in September also. Sophia will be going to Weil and I for that booth, and then we have an officer going to West Central Annual Public Safety Day on September 27th. So we have a lot of stuff going on as far as in the public this next month. And just so that you guys are also aware, one thing that I'm not sure if it was going to be brought up somewhere else, but we did add to our website case information, so the public now can access that information. They can see only if it's already been processed a person's name and case number, so they can look it up and see what it is that they were charged with. And we also have some cold cases on there, and yeah, so that's something that's very new. We'll also be posting on social media with cases once a month, just to kind of make people a little bit more aware of that side of what we do. And then I do have a budget request, but I don't know if you want me to do that now or later. Okay. So, yeah.
All right, jumping into all things fundraising, I have some notes if anyone would like to follow along. In terms of grants, we just received a notification yesterday that a grant that I had brought up in our past meeting was approved. It is the Banfield Foundation's Community Care Grant. So we've been approved for a little over $4,000, and that money will go towards making sleep preventative medication and in-home treatment available to folks who just may have barriers to getting to a vet or getting to a store where that would be available for purchase. So that'll be a great outreach opportunity and allow officers to build more rapport with residents. Diving into events, we have our Pause and Run 5K coming up on October 4th, which we're hosting with Epic Racing Events. Again, this benefits the Angel Fund. So far, there have been 25 registrations for the 5K, 2 registrations for the inflatable fun run, and we've brought in $250 for sponsorships across 3 sponsors.
With the potential.
Yes, I did receive a call from someone interested in the $1,000 presenting sponsorship, but
Great.
yeah, knock on wood, we'll see. And then, of course, Halloween coming up on October 18th. Benefiting humane education. We have not quite gotten any registrations in yet, but we have gotten $3,500 in sponsorship across 10 sponsors. Looking at those August stats, for direct mail revenue, we're looking at $19,459.25. For expenses, it was $12,138.79. And then for Fund 437 donations, we had $23,113.60. Fund 438, $9,786.22 for a total of $32,899.82. And then for first-time donors, we had 106. For recurring donors, we had 54.
Okay, one question on the registration for the Hollow Walkway. I looked on that, and it said it's $30 per person or just at our group.
Yeah.
So
we changed it. Last year, they had made it where it was any single person in the group had to pay $30, and we changed it to where it's 1 registration. So if you're a family of 4 that's coming together, you don't have to pay $120 to register
okay, so
that team. So
1 person plus whoever. Okay.
yes,
Okay.
you're entering for your 1 competitive
Your people
section.
and your pets.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And also, that's pretty normal, just so you guys aren't like weird about the registrations. Most people wait for us to start talking a little bit more about it. We just started getting the things together for the advertising and all of that. So this is very normal. I would say probably another 2 to 3 weeks before we really start getting people
Well, that's
to register
pretty
for
early.
those.
Yeah.
Appreciate that clarification.
Yeah, just so you're not worried.
Yeah.
We're not worried.
Yeah, I was like, well, I put registrations for the other event, I should probably put that there, so.
And, yep,
Clarity's.
appreciate
so-
that, yeah. Any other questions or thoughts on this topic? Okay, awesome, thank you both, appreciate that. Move on to volunteers.
All right, excuse me, July had 1,409 hours, just a smidge over last year. So overall doing well, a lot of hours in transportation and off-sites. Same Joe said, we are feeding them as fast as voluntarily possible, which has been working out great. We had a couple groups in to help out in August. We had the Department of Revenue, I think had 4 in. And then we had USI Insurance Company in, they had a larger group as well. So both groups did some cat blankets for us and did some other enrichment projects as well. And of course got tours of the shelter. We had a off-site event that our volunteers led at the Georgetown Library. We got all 5 cats adopted from there. We had a line of about 20 or 25. So to put that in perspective, our offsites usually yield a solid 2 adoptions. So really cool event. We will be at the Aboit branch on the 11th of October. So we've already talked to all the partners involved here at the shelter and hopefully have 8 to 10 cats available. But overall, sounds like it was a great event. A library did an amazing job. Volunteers said they were absolutely fantastic to work with. We also, on the 28th of September, will be having a couple volunteers go out to the Fort Wayne PD picnic. We'll have some cats available for adoptions out there. So they had asked us if we could bring some kitties out, and we said, yep. So that'll be a fun event. That's over at what park's over here? I'm forgetting about Froggy, thank you. And a couple other things. This Saturday is our volunteer foster appreciation event. I think as of now we have 100 volunteers and fosters coming, and then another 80 guests, which will be by far our largest event we've had in my 4th one going on now. So that's just going to be here. We have a few food trucks coming as well, so it should be a good time. 11:30 to 2:30. And then we've been talking about this for a while, but we're going to have 2 body language classes for our volunteer dog handlers, which will be great. So Lindsay Pease is going to train both of those. So that's something we've been talking about and trying to find time for a while, so that'll be really nice. So they're going to do just some additional training for the volunteers, give them a little more knowledge. It'll be as much learning for the volunteers. I think it will be as recognition. They love learning more about this, and I'm excited to offer it to them. That's it.
Awesome. Good stuff. Any questions, comments on the volunteer side? All right, cool. Thank you. Appreciate all the work on that. All right. So with that, I would entertain a motion to approve the July reports.
I will make that.
All right. A motion and a second. Thank you. All those in favor of approval of the July reports, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, those are approved. And we'll move on to new business.
All right, so I sent you the personnel and grant request for, oops, didn't change the date, 2026. So that is a typo on your document. The increase in salary that I put for the 2 full-time positions that you fund, as well as the current education marketing intern, I did put it at 2%. I don't know what the city is going to do. So the city has not presented their budgets to council. They said it could be 1.5%, they said it could be 2%. But if city council doesn't approve any increases, obviously those will revert back to 2025. Sorry, Sophia, Ellie, and Jeff. Otherwise, you could see a slight increase for 2026, depending on what city council approves. So I can't tell you for sure, but I built into this grant request the 2% increase in anticipation that that's what's going to be proposed.
And real quick on that.
Yes.
So ultimately, though, the employees paid out of this fund still always are tethered to the increases with the rest of the
Yes,
city?
yes.
Just to, okay.
Yep,
Thank you.
historically, we have tried to mirror what the city
Okay.
does with
Yep.
the grants, at least since,
I think that, yeah.
Since I took
makes-
over.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, cool,
Mhm.
thank you.
no problem. So that's, and you'll also notice that group insurance did go up. It went up from 14,000 to 15,000. So I feel like that's why the proposal of a salary increase is at least the 2%, to try to offset the costs, but I don't know for sure. I don't know what the rationale is, but that's kind of where we're sitting at right now. So you'll see those increases into your overall, geez, Amy Jo, with her typos, 2026 grant request, which is in the box to the lower right. You'll see the volunteer coordinator, the fund development manager. Our miscellaneous expenses, we start out with the same. We have $1,500 for sponsorships for community and partner events, which actually, now that I think about it, I need to remove that from mine because you have included that, correct?
No, not at this point.
You did not, never mind, I digress, I lied. So sponsorships for community and partner events is $1,500. We've been attending and sponsoring our partners. So we have one coming up for Fort Wayne Pipple Coalition. So again, just trying to, participate in their events, so then they'll participate in ours and just show alliance and partnership and good faith. Postage for thank yous as well as the thank you cards, $4,000. And then the miscellaneous small expenses is what you've provided to me, which is the $1,500. So I can kind of pay for things without having to come to you for every penny. For example, our most recent one was flowers to Ron Bonar. He passed away out in Arizona, so I sent a floral arrangement in thanks for him and obviously Mary, who had passed away previously, so for their contributions and their support of our agency. Outside of that, the volunteer budget, I believe, is staying the same. I did not ask Jeff, my apologies for that. So $3,225 is being proposed. I'm sure if there's some other additional expense, he may come to you in the year, but if you'll notice, our grant request for 2026 is $214,473. For 2024, I didn't include 2025 because the year's not over yet. For 2024, our total grant request was $374,691, and that's because things come up throughout the year. So that's where the increase came from. But as of right now, it's $214,473 for 2026. After all that.
Okay, any thoughts, comments, questions from the group?
No, I think it looks good.
And again, knowing that we would approve this, knowing that should the city salary amounts differ, that this could be a slightly lower
Yes.
amount to reconcile that piece. Okay.
Yes. I do not anticipate it being above 2%,
Okay. Yeah. I don't-
from what I've been hearing.
Yeah, I wouldn't guess that either.
Yes.
Okay, okay. All right. If no questions, comments, or discussion, I would entertain a motion to approve this budget request.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the 2026 personnel and grant request from Commission Fund 437, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that is approved. Thank you.
All right, Tina has a different budget to present. You.
Nothing has changed since the email, right?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I
Okay.
can't
All right,
remember, actually, I do think.
Is
we
the
changed
verbiage-
amount. So I do think that there was a
don't
slight
know.
adjustment from the email on
I
the
couldn't find it, but I've been looking at it like
donor
20 times.
engagement. So, basically, this is a request for our department specifically. Some of the things that I've noticed since I started is that we didn't have very much for promo. We already requested some of that earlier in the year, so I'm just trying to build that in for next year. There is an increase in the request because we have a lot of events, and I didn't realize how much stuff we were going to and what we were not giving stuff out at. So that's the funds for that includes like open streets, Howl event, the classroom visits. We don't give anything out at those. The JA, we have 2 really large JA events, job fairs, lunch on the square, all those things. The advertising, PSAs, so that's actually for putting it on the news stations and getting those communications out. We already have funding that helped us to get the commercials, but to be able to do anything with them, that's what this request is. And then that also will include advertising for camps and events because we don't really have any of that currently. Donor engagement is something that is new. So we haven't done very much with that, and with Sophia on board, we will start working more on cultivating our donors. We haven't really reached out to them to even say thank you or find out why they support us. And then we also are planning November 8th for our first donor engagement dinner. So that will be, we're calling it Thanks for Giving. So we do appreciate that the donors are giving to us. There's going to be no ask at that. It really is just appreciation for what they do and a chance to view the shelter behind the scenes, get to talk to some of the staff that do things every day, ask questions and whatnot. So if you guys are able to attend, we would love to have you there, but we also need to have funds for this to continue for next year and whatnot. So that's what that piece is. The other visits will be just cheap things like let's go get coffee or something with somebody, you know, that's been donating for a couple of years and really get a chance to put a face with a name and really understand better why they support us. Then there is the Howl event. That's just Howl and Barks and Muse is money that we would be reimbursing. It's just upfront costs, so venue expenses and things like that. Something new also, White Pages Premium. That is something that when I was working with the SPCA Humane Fort Wayne, or sorry, now Humane Fort Wayne, they do use the White Pages to look people up when you can't find addresses and things like a donation comes in without an address. So I was hoping at the low cost that it involves that we might be able to get that program too, so that we can also do that and thank people. And then another one is we don't really do a whole lot for staff members for birthdays or anything fun like that. So you can ixnay if you want, but I was hoping that you might consider $50 a month for us to do like a birthday cake or something. And just, we already put it in the director's chat, happy birthday to so-and-so, but maybe just a little bit more than a thank you on a video. That total equals $12,220.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, thoughts?
I don't have any problem.
Yeah, no, I think this is, I'll just say, I appreciate the efforts in terms of donor engagement and all of those. Those are things that, you know, these are, the investment of this will amplify significantly. You know, I think there's a lot of opportunity to re-engage donors. I've seen on the other side of things, a simple coffee will make a big difference. You know, those types of things I think really do matter. So yeah, this is a great assortment of things, and yeah, great from my end. I don't see any issues. Any other thoughts, questions?
Are you sure that's enough?
I'll find out. I believe so. I believe that we can manage with what I
And then
have
if you come up with
requested.
something, you can always approach and.
Yeah, if there's something big, but I mean, based on, so I've been here for 1 full year now, so based on that and just kind of judging what we have, I think that it should be enough. One of the bigger expenses is the promo stuff, which I increased that a decent amount from my original ask, because earlier in the year it was $750 for just the JA event stuff to be able to do that, and it covered just the JA. So
Between the number of events that you're going to and seeing that increase and just the cost of everything has gone up, I think that's completely reasonable. So I appreciate your question, though. I think that's, I think this group is very fiscally responsible with resources, and we really appreciate that. But certainly if there's ever times that, you know, you need resources to be able to have a maximum impact, I think we're all open to having those conversations as needed. So with that, if there's no other commentary, I'd entertain a motion to approve this budget request.
I'll make that.
I'll second.
All right, so we have a motion and second. All those in favor of the approval of the 2026 budget request for outreach and fundraising, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, that is approved. Thank you very much. All right, looks like that covers our new business, old business. Amy Jo, what do you got for staff updates?
So, since the last time we spoke, obviously, we still have the part-time vet. We still have an ACS. We have an ACO, and now we have a dispatcher position, all open. So it's very sad. We're losing a very skilled dispatcher, honestly, just because of money. So I can't do anything about that, but they're gonna go back to CCP, so, but yeah, we wish them all the best, obviously, but we're hoping that we can find some qualified candidates. We did recently pay for our positions to be posted on NACA, which is the National Animal Control Association, for at least the ACO. Delaney created some cute graphics for us so we could put it on like our personal social medias. I posted it on our LinkedIn, or at least my LinkedIn. I don't have a ton of followers, but I have some. And so I'm hoping that it at least gets shared throughout. And then I did not know about the dispatcher until like 2 days ago, so I haven't asked her for one yet. We'll see. Usually it's easy, quote unquote, easier for us to find a qualified dispatcher as long as they can type, but we'll see, so.
You know, I've been kind of monitoring your runs when I'm in my vehicle. And there's a backlog.